I need to make more supercharging stops than an ICE car at a gas station, but the money I save more than makes up for it. In a recent video, which I'll post a link to it in the description below, I broke down the number of charging stops I had to make in my Tesla Model 3 and compared it to the number of fuel stops you'd have to make in a regular gas car. And it's clear you've got to make more charging stops in the Tesla. But you see, that's where the advantage of the gas car ends, because the amount of money it takes to fuel up the electric car is a lot less than what you'd have to pay in gas. I recently went on a road trip from Northern California to Central Texas and back, and in total it was about 4,000 miles round trip. Now, I shared that experience on YouTube on this channel, so if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, I'll be sure to post a link to it at the description below. Now, having made the same road trip last year, I pretty much knew what to expect. Only this time, I didn't have to pay for supercharging. And that's all thanks to those of you who were gracious enough to use my referral code. And as a result, I was able to rack up enough free supercharging miles that I didn't have to pay for any supercharging for this trip. However, last year, that wasn't the case, and I had to pay for it. Now, what I did is I actually pulled up my credit card statements from around the time of the road trip was last year, and I was able to figure out exactly how much I paid for supercharging. So let's take a quick look at the trip via a better route planner. From Redding, California to Temple, Texas, my route took me through 5 states totaling about 2,000 miles one way. I had a total of 14 supercharging stops compared to approximately 5 stops a gas car would have to make. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the only part of the video where the gas car pulls ahead, as it quickly falls behind when we talk fuel costs. Now, since my supercharging was free this year, what happens is sometimes when you plug in, it actually will tell you how much it would cost if you were paying. However, many other times it actually just shows you a zero balance. So unfortunately, what I'd have to really do then is take the amount of kilowatt hours that I put in the battery during the trip and then average out what it is I would have paid in supercharging, because it is different in every state. So you'd have to take an estimate and an average at that point. Whereas the numbers that I have from last year are real world. There's no estimation involved. It is down to the penny. Now, since there are a lot of ICE cars out there with different fuel efficiencies, I thought I would break it down between cars with 45 miles per gallon down to as low as 20 miles per gallon. And I know that there are also several different gas prices out there as well. So what I did is I visited gasbuddy.com and I took the average of the gas prices in all of the areas that I traveled. So for example, in Nevada, it was upwards of $3.24, but as you headed eastward into Texas, it was down to about $2.50 per gallon. So on average, with everything in between, it came out to $2.91 per gallon. So let's start off with the total cost of supercharging for my 4,000 mile road trip there and back, and the total came out to $155.63. Now let's take a look at what it would cost for an ICE car that gets 45 miles to the gallon. That's 4,000 miles divided by 45, which comes out to 89 gallons needed for the trip. 89 gallons at $2.91 comes out to $259. A gas car that gets 40 miles to the gallon would come out to $291. At 35 miles per gallon, it comes out to $333. A car that gets 30 miles to the gallon would need $388 to make the trip. A car that gets 25 miles to the gallon, $466. And if you're unfortunate enough to drive a car that only gets 20 miles to the gallon, it's going to cost you $582. So as you can see, as you compare an EV to that of a fuel-efficient vehicle, you're going to save at least $100 on a 4,000 mile road trip. But as the gas car becomes less and less efficient, you're going to save even more money. And the best part is, you're not using a drop of gas. Now, there are going to be some EV haters out there who will say, but yes, you're essentially plugging into a coal plant. And in some cases, that may be true. However, that being said, there are several supercharging stations out there from Tesla that have solar panels. And of course, the country, when I say the country, America, is getting greener and greener as we speak. whether it's solar power or hydropower or wind power. I mean, there were several areas in Texas that I saw wind power being generated, in particular around the Texas Panhandle and in West Texas in general. It was all over the place. So yes, there is a small chance that you could be plugging into a coal plant, but there's an even better chance that the energy will be green. So that wraps up yet another video. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you liked it, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't checked out my channel just yet, be sure to check it out, especially if you're new to the Tesla Model 3, because there are many instructional videos out there that'll help you best utilize your car. And on top of that, I do a lot of videos like this as well, especially with my recent road trip, to kind of give you an idea that yes, you can take this car on a road trip without even thinking twice about it. And if you are thinking about buying a Tesla, whether it's a 3, S, or an X, be sure to use my referral code for 1,000 miles of free supercharging. So until my next video, stay positively charged.